Coming to you live from the StreamYard studios and powered by Venmo. It is the Bleav in the Southside podcast. I am Steve-O. You can find me on Twitter at DrunkShySoxFan. Joining me, as always, this man needs no introduction.
What's going on? It is Carrie. You can find me on Twitter at ThatBaseByFan. You can find me at Blue Sky at We Can't Wait for You Dirtballs to Come Back here. So yeah, whatever you want to find me at, that's fine.
Holy shit. And I think one thing that I do have to comment on before we talk about White Sox baseball, Carrie, is which there's enough to talk about. But that being said, you know, we met on White Sox Twitter. White Sox Twitter is one of the places that fuels this podcast, particularly in the comments section. Thank you to Billy and Senor who have already shown up and not used the StreamYard link that I provided. They literally could join this episode if they wanted to, because I accidentally did that. But White Sox Twitter is an absolute tire fire, and it's awesome. It's fantastic. Everybody's at each other's throats.
You think so?
Yeah, it seems like it. Are you in slides and high knee socks right now, Carrie?
I don't have high knee socks, but I am wearing Nike slides. So
that's fantastic. I have not owned a pair of slides since like high school.
Does that make you better than me or something?
No, I'm just saying. Like, are they in style?
Always in the suburbs for young Jewish males like myself. Yes.
So you and Jake.
He's probably wearing like dreidels on his legs or something. He's real.
Oh shit. Well, Carrie, we got some White Sox stuff to talk about. Your display name here on StreamYard says it all. Sweet Prince Gio, R.I.P. Gio is gone. What's your initial thoughts? Let me hear your initial thoughts on the Lucas Giolito era being over in Chicago.
I think everybody has the same feelings almost, where like you knew that it was going to happen because they were so fucking bad this year. But like now that it happened, it's sad, right? Because it's like, if you think about it, that trade, like for Lopez and Giolito, was after Kopech. It was after the Kopech trade. Kopech and Moncada won, and everybody was like, oh my God, they just got like three studs. Like, this is the start of something big. And now, like, that they're both gone together at the same time, it's like kind of like deflating to where you're like, this is over, it's done with, and fuck this era of White Sox baseball.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's really funny to think that two of the cornerstones of the rebuild, basically, at least from staff arms, Raylo and Gio, who were both traded to the White Sox together, are now being traded away from the White Sox together. They started in the national system. They are, they were Chicago White Sox, and now they are going to be LA Angels of Anaheim.
For season at least, yeah.
Yeah. Is this what you expected?
Yeah, I don't want to give this motherfucker any pride, any good job, but like the fact that they did get a top 100 prospect and like a guy that was in a futures game and who like was a high draft pick for a rental, it made sense, but like every other prospect, in my opinion, it won't mean shit in the long run. So
right, exactly. I mean, the White Sox had at one point 8 top 100 prospects.
Yeah,
and
we've got 2 playoff wins to show it. So.
Yeah, two playoff wins and one guy basically out of those 8 that's performing well.
Yeah.
That right. I mean, it's Luis, and then Eloy when he's healthy, but that's always, you've got your own thoughts on Eloy being made of glass.
Not even.
So does this mean that the Washington Nationals won the Adam Eaton trade?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, they won a World Series with the guy, right? like the Chris Sale trade, they won a World Series with the guy. That's the ultimate goal, right?
Mhm.
So I'd say the only one that really didn't was the Cubs one. But who knows? Those guys are going to get traded too eventually, Eloy and Cease. So we'll
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. It's just it's what I expected to. I mean, the White Sox didn't sign Giolito, and on top of that, I think there are some people who are upset at what they got in return. That's what you're going to get for two guys on rental, I mean, those are two guys that could go sign elsewhere next year. And for Giolito's case, unless he wants to take a hometown discount with the Angels, or the Angels really want to pay him, and they see it worth paying him, which is up in the air for the Angels because they never pay for pitching. I mean, it's going to be 50-50. I'm happy with the return that they got. I think this catching prospect actually has some serious potential. Yeah, I know people were talking about his ground ball rate on Twitter, which is really funny because yes, the White Sox lead the major leagues in ground ball percentage, and this guy has like a 49% ground ball percentage. He's young, but one thing that I like about him is that he's a guy that walks more than he strikes out.
Same with Zach Collins did that too.
What, walked more than he struck out?
In the minors? Yeah, absolutely.
I did not know that about Zach Collins.
Oh, yeah. He had a big walk rate in the minors, so I wouldn't put too much substance to that. I don't like the ground ball rate at this point. I mean, I'm also never going to believe into this franchise until, like, something drastic happens, right? So I'm probably, I'm tainted now. I'm completely tainted. I think I've seen it all as a White Sox fan, like throughout my whole life, so oh my God.
Yeah, I know. Comment section already just on fire. I'm not even going to show that comment. Now, Raylo. Was this the right move with Raylo too, to try and package him?
Yeah, I think so. I absolutely think so. I think that needs to happen with Aaron Bummer with like a Lance Lynn or something like that. Get that offer better. You're not going to get a lot for Lance Lynn, right?
Right.
So package him with like an Aaron Bummer who teams need, right? Like he's very cheap and cost controlled for a while. I would say do that, and you can maybe get another top 100 prospect or something like that. So
yeah, I'm not sure if you saw the. All right, that one's worth showing right there. Apparently, Sammy Davis Jr. here named his kid Reynaldo. Yeah, I mean, I'll miss Raylo too. I to be honest with you, I thought the White Sox could have used Reynaldo Lopez down the stretch. Like he's a guy that they could have, given a cheap deal to down the road. But that being said, they packaged him up. They're getting younger with other prospects. You brought up Lance Lynn. Let's go down the Lance Lynn road. Is Lance Lynn all but gone? I saw a tweet that he was at Home Depot buying boxes.
I saw that.
Which is hilarious. There might be some truth to that. Are you...
That's so stupid.
Are you under the belief that they can package Lynn and a reliever like Bummer or Keenan Middleton for a top 100 prospect?
Yeah, I think so, potentially. I mean, if you package him. I mean, I know he's not really on like a one-year deal. I think he has is it a player or a club option? One of the two the year after. Oh, my God. Yeah, so I think you can get a decent amount for him, but who knows? He's been fucking bad this year.
For sure. I mean, exactly, right? Terrible. But then once again, guess who else was terrible with the White Sox, but then went to Tampa Bay and turned it up to 100? Jake Diekman, right?
Diekman, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, the fact that the Rays have become a safe haven for veteran guys who suck to kind of try and revive themselves, that could mean something for Lynn's value. If you can package a couple guys together and ship them off to Tampa Bay for a top 100 prospect, amazing. I think that would be a win for Rick Hahn, and he doesn't have a lot of wins. Yeah, Senior's got me just absolutely destroyed. We're having a lot of bathroom remodels at my current school right now. So
That's
Senior,
so good. It's so good.
Yeah. Gary's just destroyed right now. Oh, well, this Cubs series, Gary, do we want to recap that at all?
I mean, they fucking got destroyed. I mean, what else is there to say, dude? It was just like epitomized the White Sox the past 2 years.
Right.
So
it's depressing. I'll be honest. Like, as much as I don't care and as much as I'm checked out, like, I felt like I took the dog for a walk this morning and I had an old White Sox t-shirt on and I felt like I was doing the walk of shame. Like, I felt like I was doing the walk of shame around the block because I'm wearing this White Sox t-shirt and they just got not just pummeled the last 2 games, but they're how many fucking games under 500 are they now?
21.
21 games under 500, about to be 22 tonight because last time I checked they were already losing.
Yeah. Those
they're losing 4-1 in the top of the 4th. I mean, they don't give a shit. They like the players on the field don't give a shit because the manager doesn't give a shit because the front office doesn't give a shit because the owner doesn't give a shit.
Of course, it's a culture that you create, and that's what it is.
Yeah, it's just absolutely insane to me. Like, why should I even be a fan of this team? Like, can you tell your Uncle Jerry? I thought it was Grandpa Jerry Carey, but can you tell your Uncle Jerry to sell the team, please, from Senior?
Listen, like I said, Senor, I think when Jerry Reinsdorf sells the team or is not the owner anymore, that's my next. Like, it's going to feel like a World Series to me. That's going to feel like my second World Series that I've seen. I can't wait till he's gone.
I mean, there's no fucking way that this team becomes relevant before he dies, right?
No.
That's what I'm convinced of.
With the modern day baseball, there's no fucking chance unless something gets really lucky. That's all it is, though. If they get the Moncada magically has a great year, Andrew Vaughn does better, and Luis is healthy at the same time with Eloy healthy for a year. Like, if those guys do well and they sign free agents that are decent and those free agents work, maybe, but that doesn't happen in this organization. So no.
Yeah.
No. And the free agents aren't even that good this year coming up, besides one, and they're not fucking getting Shohei Ohtani. So
no, they're not, and I wish they were. I mean, they would literally have to pay Ohtani $500 million.
Not happening.
They would have to guarantee him $500 million to come to Chicago, and it's just not happening.
No.
So,
I mean, you have like Max Scherzer, too old. Like, Ohtani's not even 30, but the only guys you have after that are like Jock Peterson, who's already almost 32, and the Cody Bellingers of the world, and Julio Urias, Tessicar Hernandez. Nobody that good, So they say they want to go for it next year, which is something I want to bring up with you because I want to talk about Dylan Cease too. Is they said that they won't be trading Cease because they plan on contending next year.
Well, I know that's the fucking funniest thing of it all. Contending for maybe the AL Central, maybe.
But you're 21 games under 500,
right?
And you're getting rid of good players. What makes you think that you could contend? I agree with Senor.
You agree now?
Yes, I agree.
Okay.
I finally looked at like his contract, and if you're not contending next year, right, which you're not, because if you made that trade, neither of those guys are going to be ready for next year. Maybe that lefty pitcher, but like whatever, right? But if you're not going to contend next year, after that, he's gone in 2025, after 2025. So even if you're bad and you want to trade him, again, he's a rental. So I would agree. Trade Cease right now, get a fucking haul.
Yeah. He's at his highest value right now.
Get like 2, you could probably get a top 50 and a top 100 prospect for Dylan Cease, at least right now.
Oh,
Easily.
yeah. No, I think
Because
he
you
could
would have
get.
him for 24 and 25. You'd have him for 2 more years and 2.5 more years. So, yeah.
I think a top 15 prospect could definitely highlight a Lucas Giolito, okay, or not. Pardon me, a Dylan Cease trade. Like that's realistic. Last year's Dylan Cease is still fresh in the minds of people, and he's had stretches of that brilliance this year. So there's no reason to think why he can't do that. Now, say you hold on to him until the end of the season, and he continues to, I don't know, say he's subpar. I mean, look at him today. He has not been fantastic. He's out on the mound today, and he's not pitching well, right?
But like a team like some of these top teams who actually develop players well would definitely make him better. And I think just like being in a playoff hunt makes a guy better, right? And you have that control, and you've seen what he did last year. I think he nets a bunch of prospects, man. You know,
I agree, and you got to net him for sure thing, at least one sure thing prospect that can touch the field every fucking day. As much
Yeah.
as I love Dylan Cease, and as exciting as it is to watch him pitch, especially when he's got his A game, not tonight where he's fucking. Hold on, I just had the fucking stat line up. 4 innings pitched, 7 hits, 4 earned, 2 walks, and 3 strikeouts. Like. When he's not that, and he's better than that, he's a great player to watch, but he's not a guy that's going to impact your team every single day. And that's what this roster needs. It can't. Luis Robert can't be carrying the load for this team. Like, he cannot be the only guy. Because right now, as much as I would love Eloy to be another one of those guys, he can't stay on the field. Gavin Sheets, definitely not that dude. Andrew Vaughn has not proven to be that dude. Yohan Makata, he's definitely not that dude right now. As much as I love him deep down in my heart,
he sucks.
He's not healthy enough. He sucks because he's playing fucking injured
all the time. But he hasn't hit good for 4 years, man. So
I mean, he was fine in 21. Fine. He didn't hit that well, but he got on base. He at least fucking got on base, right? Yes. On top of that, too, Tim Anderson, right? So many people thought Tim Anderson was the next thing, right? The BABIP god said, "It's my turn."
Yeah,
exactly. That's me. Oh, he's a bust. He's a bust though. He might be a bust.
He might be a bust. Yeah. I mean, just with Cease, I'm looking. It's the teams with the top prospects. I mean, the Orioles definitely need a starting pitcher, right? Top of the line guy, and they have plenty of players. And even the Dodgers need a guy like that, and the Diamondbacks, right? The Reds, the Rays, Rangers, all these teams need a top starter. I think, and you saw what you got for Giolito, who's a rental, right? You saw that package you got for Giolito. I mean, I think this is the time now to probably go for a guy like to trade Dylan Cease and get 2 to 3, maybe probably 2 top 100 guys and a fringe top 100 guy after that. So.
I think that's fair. There's one idiot on Twitter. I'm gonna keep him nameless. There might be McNuggets named after him. Who said it's about the mentality of the prospect, very little to do with the team. Would you agree with that?
I mean, I think that obviously if a guy is careless and doesn't care, yeah, but these guys fucking care. And that's so stupid. Such a dumb fucking comment. I don't know. That guy just, I know who you're talking about, and he can fucking blow a fart out of an ass. That guy's a fucking idiot. So fuck that guy. But yeah, I mean,
I just don't get it.
He's such a fucking idiot.
He really is. No, and that's another huge problem with the White Sox, right? Think about how the White Sox and the Braves, right, in 2019, were 1 and 2 when it came to top prospects, right?
Yeah.
Look
at the difference.
Look at where the Braves are and look at where the White Sox are.
Yeah.
Okay, we're talking about arguably the best team in baseball and arguably the worst team in baseball for the product that's out on the field.
Easily.
Like when you think of the 3 other teams that are worse than the White Sox record-wise, those other 3 teams are definitely not even close to trying. They're on a whole nother level of not trying compared to the White Sox. So, would you care about this, Gary, for Senor's comment? If the top prospect had a
Sure.
certain religious...
Sure. I don't give a fuck. That's so stupid.
I know it is. It's fantastic. So Carey, I mean, I'm out of words for this team, man. Like, that's where I'm at. I literally have nothing else to say because no one gives a shit, including the fans.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen it with I saw a chart. It was like there was two charts. It was like percentage of fans, like just like the difference in like attendance from last year and the year before that, and it was the White Sox are last in everything. So, like as far as it was like season tickets renewed, Sox were last, and then like as far as like attendance, the Sox were last in difference. So people are done. You know, they were sold a product. They were lied to during the product. They never got superstars. You know, they relied on young guys and never developed people. And they wanted sustained success, and they fucking suck ass. So,
Yeah, and I mean, you just can't have sustained success when your game plan is okay. Every single one of these prospects is going to pan out and be amazing. And we're going to invest in old veterans, aging veterans. And by the way, a bunch of our money is going to be spent on bullpen pieces. Like, what kind of strategy is that?
It's a strategy of a man that has no fucking clue what he's doing. And now you've seen it with Rick Hahn. Is he was handed the team and got, did the retool with the Melky Cabrera, Robertson, Samardzija, tried that, built a fucking toxic X culture, right? Okay.
Yep.
All the wrong moves. And then tries a rebuild, complete teardown rebuild, and fucks that up too. So I don't know what the next thing is, but
getting fired is the next thing.
He's not going to. So when he's not getting fired, like it's a retool. Like they asked him yesterday, like they're like, "Are you going to go through another rebuild?" And he just was like pissed about the question. So it's kind of funny, but it's just like, well, you did this to your fucking self, asshole. Answer the question, but he won't. So.
I mean, do you think that's what it's going to take for the White Sox to be relevant again? Is a whole nother rebuild?
No.
Okay.
No.
So what's it going to take for them to be relevant?
Jerry Reinsdorf to sell the fucking team, and Rick Hahn to be gone, and Kenny Williams to be gone, and just the stink of all of that to be gone.
Fair.
Until then, I really have no hope. And
so no hope. You're saying, so say you are Rick Hahn and you're staying in your position. You have nowhere to go. You are stuck as GM of the Chicago White Sox, which he is. I mean, he's not going to get a job anywhere else, and Jerry's going to keep him there because, yeah. So say that is the situation. What can Rick Hahn do?
I mean, when you look at who's coming off the books, you have like $70, $80 million coming off this year. Right. So the only thing you can do is try, like, I don't even fucking know. I mean, like, you have an outfield if you really want Eloy to play out there. Colas stinks to high heaven, so he's fucking terrible. So, like, you got to get a right fielder again. You need a second baseman again. You need a catcher now. And, like, you don't have one coming up anytime soon, and Semi Zavala is not a starting catcher. So you got to sign like a rental catcher potentially, right? I mean, your first baseman kind of fucking sucks too, but they're going to roll with him because they believe in him, right? So I just want them to do anything besides get bullpen pieces. Like, go get some fielders, and then get like I don't know, Omar Narvaez, bring him back for a year, like just like for a year, get like a shitty catcher that's not Yasmani, right? Like, who cares? Bring him in, and then for the rest of the field, get some guys. If you really aren't going to rebuild, get some guys and hope that Tim Anderson comes back and Moncada and Eloy and Vaughn does well. But actually spend some fucking money on positional players.
Yep.
But then there's no pitching. So.
Or you just throw the bag at Shohei Ohtani. I mean, that's what it's going to take. Like, I'll be honest. The White Sox right now, like, here's what's got to happen for me. As a part season ticket holder, right? I hate myself for still having a part season ticket a part package. You made the right move this year, Kerry. Here's what it's got to take. It's got to take Rick Hahn and Pedro Grifol out.
Yes.
Because Kenny has a job for life. So he's not going anywhere. It's got to take both those guys out, and it's got to take the White Sox signing someone big. Shohei's probably that dude. I know that's crazy.
Though, if you look at the free agency, like maybe the next best thing would be Julio Urias, but that's a pitcher,
right.
Like that's it.
And you get both. Like you get a guy that's going to pitch every 5 days, and you get a guy that's absolutely phenomenal with the plate, superstar. And the White Sox need a superstar. Luis Robert can be that. Imagine if you give him some lineup protection or another superstar to bolster him. It's only going to make him better.
It only makes too much sense. I mean, like Conforto's a free agent, right? Jock Peterson, Cody Bellinger. You can easily bring in like one of those guys because they are lefties, right? You bring one of those guys, and either's a good alternative, and then you have to go sign a second baseman, and figure it out from there. But once again, there's probably no good second baseman. I mean, you're looking at Adam Frazier and Colton Wong and Javier Baez. And you don't want Baez to come here.
Well, I mean, all those guys are going to be pricey too. I mean, second base is going to be. Here's the thing: if they go and spend the money, actually spend the money the right way on, say, a guy like Shohei and another piece like Conforto, like I could give a shit, to be honest with you, if they put Popeye at second, if they put fucking Lenny Sosa at second. Because those are definitely your 9-hitter, right? And then you finally got the front of the lineup looking the way it should.
Yeah, but it's just not going to happen.
It's not. You're right. It's not. I think Rick Hahn probably keeps his job this year, unfortunately, like going into next year. But you know what's going to do it for Jerry? It's going to be the ticket sales. And I know that attendance has dropped this year. Think about what it's going to look like next year when payroll is cut, when payroll is slashed again.
Yeah.
Because Jerry said, all right, I gave you $200 million and my product was a 500 ball club. Fuck you. I'm going to take that away from you and cut it down to this. What's he going to do again? Oh, well, you had a higher payroll in, let me think about this. You had a higher payroll in 2023 than you did in 2019, right?
Yeah.
And the product is basically the same, so I'm going to go back down to that level, The White Sox are going to field maybe a $100 million ball club next year. 120.
Nobody will go.
$120 million ball club, and the ballpark's going to be empty every fucking day.
I agree. I see that coming. I see some dark days coming. That's why it doesn't make sense to try to contend because, like, if you don't go get these big ticket free agents, people won't give a fuck. They will not give a fuck. If you come away with Andrew Benintendi and Mike Clevenger, people will not give a fuck. They won't.
Yep. And then you piss off more than half your fan base too by signing a guy like Clevenger.
Yeah, 100%. So.
And apparently Jake Berger's our only form of offense tonight. 2 bombs from him.
And he's been playing second base decently. I mean, maybe he's your second baseman, but like
maybe he's your second baseman because you're. I mean, and honestly, why they are even trying to trot Moncada out there is insane to me.
I know. I don't get it.
Shut it down. Figure out if it's a health thing, and if it's not, like, and he finally gets healthy, and it's not a health issue. You DFA him in May next year.
He makes too much money though. Makes way too much money.
But if he fucking sucks and it's in the last year of his contract, you just fucking cut the ends off.
Is it though?
Isn't he done in 24? I thought he was done in 24. So I like Bleav the pitcher, not the human. Do you like Bleav the pitcher, not the human?
I agree with that. I don't
He's
like
been decent. He's not healthy, but
so yeah, it is a club option for 2025 for Yoel Moncada. So you are right. So next year is probably Yoel Moncada's last year with the Chicago White Sox. The only thing you hope for is that he does well in the first half of that season and you fucking trade his ass. Because he will have that club option, so you will actually get something decent for him. That's why they should just shut his ass down now, get him healthy for next year.
Exactly. Zero reason why you should be trouting him out on the
like,
field.
what if he is 2021 Yoan in that first half? Like, a team will want that, and they get him for a year and a half. Yeah, fuck yeah.
And let's get even fucking crazier, Carey. He plays third, Berger plays second. They go out and fucking sign somebody or a couple guys that are decent, and they perform. Eloy stays on the. I mean, like, it's all chance. Don't get me wrong.
That's all it is, though.
It's all chance.
That's all the White Sox baseball is hope, right? Like hoping that this shit happens, and it doesn't. So
right, but I don't know. Just fucking say it does in the beginning of July, right? I'm not hanging my hat on that at all, but I don't know. Some sort of hope. That's the only reason why I'm sticking around.
That should be the new slogan for them. Chicago White Sox baseball, some sort of hope.
Yeah. I mean, if they're in some sort of contention position, not this bullshit where people are like, oh, they're like 5.5 back at the All-Star break, like they might have a chance. None of that bullshit. Like say they're 5.5 games up in the Central. Okay. Yeah. Like, I don't think you trade a guy like Moncada. Then you ride his ass out to the sunset.
Well, because then you still have that club option. So yeah.
Right. But I highly doubt that's going to happen.
No, it is very unlikely.
So fire sale, Carey?
I guess, but they're not going to do it. They're really not going to do it. So We'll see.
Because next year's Rick Hahn's magnum opus. Ride the Harley into the sunset.
Fucking hate that motherfucker, man.
I cannot wait for the Rick Hahn era to be done.
Same here.
Yep. Well, it's been a good one, Carey. We're just over a half hour. Thank you to everybody that joined us in the comments. Senor, Sammy Davis John Jr., Billy Wires, of course, Jim. I don't think I'm missing anybody. I think that's it.
Jim is, but yeah.
Yeah. Beer Garden Jim? Never heard of Beer Garden Jim?
Nope. Just that one private account, Beer Garden Jim.
I know, who friended me and then unfriended me. I think that person should. Asshole. All right. Have a good one, everybody. We'll be probably back on next week to bitch more about this team.